Welcome my dear listeners, stay with me to get the spoilers first. And subscribe to the channel. Let's find out what's going to happen on The Young and the Restless. Nick's life is in danger because of Adam's bad choice. Nick's darkest edge. Adam forces him to live before the Matt Clark attack. The danger in Genoa City has been getting worse for days, but the most recent set of The Young and the Restless spoilers makes it even more personal. Matt Clark is still out there, still a threat and still set on ruining the Newman family. Sharon and Noah are still stuck in the middle of his revenge game, and Adam knows that the only way to stop Matt is to move quickly and hit harder than he thinks he can. But there's one thing that could ruin everything before the rescue even starts. Nick Newman's body is starting to give him away and he's running out of time. Nick's health gets worse the longer he goes without drugs. What started out as a rough edge is now becoming clear withdrawal. His hands are shaky. He loses his focus. His mood goes up and down. Looks like every breath is hard work. Adam can see it clearly, and for a moment it's not even about being judged or disappointed. It's about what's real. Nick is not ready to fight Matt Clark like this. That's what makes this story so tense. Nick is willing to do anything to save Sharon and Noah. Adam really wants to help him do it. But the rescue mission can't wait for the perfect time, so Adam has to face a harsh truth. If Nick keeps holding on with white knuckles, he might be more of a burden than a help. Adam can't afford that. Matt has already shown that he will take advantage of every weakness in the room. He has changed messages, broken trust and set up trap after trap. Nick's condition has become another weapon Matt can use in the middle of all that chaos. The withdrawals aren't just physical. They are in your mind. They are feeling things. They are taking Nick to a place where pain keeps him from focusing on the bigger fight. Right away Adam sees it. Of course Nick tries to hide it at first. He always does. He would rather push through than admit how bad it is getting, even when his life is on the line. He keeps his jaw tight, his answers short and his body stiff, as if he can hold everything together with willpower alone. But Adam has known him long enough to see the signs. Nick's body is too tense. The way he keeps moving his weight, the way his focus comes and goes in waves, and the way his face goes pale when the pain gets worse all tell Adam the same thing. Nick is not doing well. Nick knows it, which is even worse. It's too dangerous to deny what's going on. Matt is still aiming at Sharon and Noah. The ambush is still on its way. Adam is already planning his next move, route and chance to catch Matt before he can hurt anyone else. But none of that matters if Nick can't keep up with his body. They need him to be sharp. They need him to be calm. They need him to be able to think, act and support Adam when the time comes. Nick is fighting his own body instead. That's when the fight gets bad. Adam doesn't want to talk about what he's thinking. He doesn't want to be the one to bring up something that no one wants to talk about. He knows how bad it sounds. He is aware of how risky it is. He knows where he is going to cross the line. But this isn't a normal time and they aren't fighting a normal enemy. Matt Clark won't stop just because Nick is in pain. He would push harder if he saw weakness. So Adam takes Nick aside and looks him straight in the eye. He doesn't say anything bad about him. He doesn't talk down to him. He just tells him the truth. Nick can't deal with Matt like this. That hurts a lot. Nick gets angry right away because that's just how he is. He is too angry, too proud, and too desperate to want to hear that he is going to fail before the mission even starts. He says he is fine. He says he can get through it. He says that the pain won't matter once they get to Matt. Adam won't move. He can see the clear signs of addiction and withdrawal, and he knows that the truth is worse than Nick wants to say it out loud. The symptoms get worse every minute that goes by without relief. He gets less focused with each step. Every fight takes energy he can't afford to lose. Adam can see that Nick is trying to keep himself together with grit alone, but that's not enough when the body wants what it hasn't had. Nick is mad, embarrassed and tired. Adam is upset, worried and doing his best not to show how scared he is. It seems like loyalty and urgency are at odds with each other. One brother is trying to keep the other safe. The other person is trying to stay alive without admitting how close they are to falling. The truth is that Adam's suggestion is not kind in the way that makes you feel better. People only reach for this kind of harsh mercy when they think there is no other choice. He nudges Nick not to make him spiral but to help him get through the immediate danger. He tells him to give in to the drugs and do what his body wants. This is not a good answer. Adam is aware of that. Nick is aware of that. But for now it's the only thing Adam can think of that might keep Nick going long enough for him to help. And that difference is important. Adam isn't pretending that this is the right answer for the future. He is not ignoring Nick's drug problem. He isn't making excuses for what's happening or acting like this will fix things for more than a few hours. He knows that after this Matt Clark nightmare is over, there will have to be a real reckoning. Nick will need some help. He needs to clean up. He will need help and he probably doesn't want to admit it. Adam really does plan to help him with that later. But not now. Sharon and Noah are still in danger right now. Matt is still moving now. Nick needs to be able to help Adam both mentally and physically. That's the awful maths Adam is doing in his head. He wants Nick to live. Eventually he wants Nick to be sober. He wants Nick to be whole. But none of that will matter if Nick breaks down before they get to Matt. So Adam does what he never wanted to do and tells Nick to give his body what it needs, just enough to get him ready for the fight. Nick doesn't like it. At first he seems almost offended that Adam would say that. He wants to say no for the sake of saying no. He wants to show that he can beat this with willpower alone. No matter how much pain his body is in, he wants to stay above it. But there is a part of him that he doesn't say out loud that knows Adam is right. He can sense that he is slipping. He can feel the withdrawal creeping into every part of his mind. If they keep going after Matt like this, he might not make it through the first important moment. That truth is very embarrassing. But it can't be helped. The scene changes now. The argument gets less heated not because the tension goes away, but because Nick can no longer act like the problem isn't real. Adam doesn't brag. He doesn't act like he's better than everyone else. He just stands there, stuck in the role of the brother who sees the disaster coming and won't let pride make it worse. He tells Nick that this won't last long. He tells Nick that they will take care of the rest later. He tells Nick that the main thing is to stop Matt, save Sharon and Noah, and get out of this alive. The two men then move again, but only then. Nick gives in, but not because he's weak. He gives in to the present. To stay alive. To the ugly truth that this mission can't wait until he feels better. He takes what he needs to calm the worst of the withdrawal, and Adam can see the difference right away. Not great. Not tidy. Just enough to steady him, sharpen him, and make him useful in the fight ahead. This spoiler plot is all about that painful compromise. Nick doesn't have to kill himself for Adam. He is asking him to borrow enough strength to get through the rescue. It is a desperate move made in a desperate situation, and that is what makes it feel like The Young and the Restless at its best. Messy, emotional, and impossible to fix. Because there are still bigger problems to deal with. Matt Clark is still out there, still planning and still ready to use any doubt against them. Sharon and Noah are still in the sights. The ambush is still on its way. Now Nick has to get over his shame, his withdrawal, and his fear long enough to be with Adam when the trap finally goes off. That choice also creates a quiet bond. Nick and Adam are not suddenly best friends. They aren't making this into a sentimental brotherhood scene. But for a short time they have to work together for their own safety. Adam sees something that Nick can't. Nick agrees with what Adam says. They are the only team that might be able to beat Matt at his own game. That is what makes the story so emotional. People aren't calling Nick weak. He is being shown as a person. Adam is not being written as someone who doesn't care. He is being shown to be practical. The two men are stuck between what is perfect and what is possible, and they choose the option that keeps the mission going. It doesn't look good. It doesn't feel good. But it has to be done. When they are ready to move on, Matt is more coherent, more grounded, and better able to keep fighting. Adam knows that the choice he made won't go away just because the danger is gone, and Nick knows this too. There will be talks later. There will be shame. There will be effects. There will be help and probably anger and then a long road back to being clean. But for now all there is the ambush. That's the whole point. Adam needed Nick to be alive enough to stand with him when they went after Matt Clark. And Nick needed to hear the ugly truth before they both died of pride. Nobody gets the luxury of a perfect answer in this dangerous week. They get the answer that keeps them going. So Adam tells Nick to give his body what it wants. Nick doesn't like it. Nick doesn't want to do it. Then Nick agrees. And with that, the brothers move on to the next part of the rescue, fully aware that getting Matt Clark to safety is only the first battle. The next one might be harder. But that's a problem for another time. They need to stop a man who has turned revenge into a death trap right now, and they need to do it while Nick is still standing. Nick's dark spiral, Matt's poison trap, and Adam's unthinkable choice. The danger in The Young and the Restless is getting worse by the hour, and this time it's hitting Nick Newman in the most personal way possible. Matt Clark is still the bad guy in all of this. He's the one behind the scenes pulling the strings and setting up a trap with poison that will break Nick from the inside out. Nick is not innocent though. He knows exactly what he's been doing to stay alive, and he knows he's been putting his own body through hell to keep up with the chaos around him. This story is so painful because Nick isn't innocent, but Matt is using Nick's weakness against him. Matt's plan has always been worse than just getting back at someone. He doesn't just want to hurt Nick. He wants to destroy him, make him seem unstable and put him in a situation where every choice is risky. The poison is the last straw in a long line of tricks. Matt knows that he can turn a rescue mission into a failure if he keeps Nick under pressure, keeps the cravings going and keeps him off balance. That is exactly what he is hoping for now. Nick has been fighting too many wars at once. He is trying to help Sharon. He is trying to stay one step ahead of Matt. He is trying to keep his loved ones safe while also keeping himself safe. But the longer he goes without help, the worse he gets. His hands shake. He loses his focus. He gets angrier faster. His body starts to want what it hasn't been given, and every second of withdrawal makes it harder for him to think clearly. He is somewhat responsible for what he puts into his body because he knows better than to keep pushing this edge. He is aware of the dangers. He knows what will happen next. But that doesn't make Matt's job any less horrible. Matt is the one who is poisoning him and using Nick's weakness to make the noose tighter. Adam sees it before anyone else can act like they don't. He knows his brother well enough to know when Nick is going off the rails. Nick tries to hide it at first like he always does. He acts like a stubborn Newman, saying he's fine, saying he can handle it and saying the mission is more important than his health. But Adam doesn't believe it. He sees the very clear signs of addiction and withdrawal, but he also sees something worse. A man who is trying to fight a war while his own body is turning against him. This is the mean part of the story. Nick has to deal with more than just Matt's poison. He also has to deal with the shame of knowing that he helped make the mess. He decided to keep going. He decided to take chances. He decided to put something in his body to get through the moment, and now the effects are piling up. That doesn't mean he's the bad guy. It makes him a person. Matt is still the real bad guy because he set the trap and is taking advantage of Nick's weakness. Adam doesn't like what he sees, but he hates the situation even more. He knows that Sharon and Noah are still in danger. He knows that Matt isn't being polite and waiting for anyone to get better. He knows the ambush is coming and it's coming quickly. Nick can't just sit down and wait for the worst of the withdrawal to pass. He needs to be on top of things. He needs to be able to help Adam both mentally and physically. He has to be able to stand next to him when they hit Matt. There is no room for pride, denial, or a perfect answer. Adam has the talk that no one wants to have. He takes Nick aside and tells him the truth. Not the truth that sounds good. The one that hurts. Nick isn't ready to face Matt like this. The longer he goes without drugs, the worse he will feel. He will be slower, less focused, and easier to knock off balance. Adam can see it happening right now, and he knows that if they walk into the ambush with Nick like this, they might lose before they even start. Nick doesn't want to hear it. Of course he doesn't. He won't admit that Adam is right because he is too proud, too ashamed, and too determined. He wants to fight through it because it's the right thing to do. He wants to show that he can get through this, deal with the pain, and keep going without giving up. But that's what makes the scene so tense. Nick's body is begging for help, but his mind is trying to act tough and ignore biology. In the end, Adam makes the kind of ugly, practical choice that only a really bad situation can force him to make. He tells Nick to give in to the drugs and take what he needs. The answer isn't pretty. In the long run, it's not the right answer. Adam knows that too. He isn't acting like this is some kind of breakthrough in healing. He wants Nick to get better later. Later he wants to help him. He is determined to deal with the fallout, the recovery, the guilt, and the damage once the Matt Clark nightmare is over. But right now later is too far off. Nick needs to stay alive right now. That's why Adam calls. It is the only thing he can think of that will help Nick get through the next few hours without falling apart. If Nick is too far gone in withdrawal, he isn't just weak. He is weak. In a fight with a guy like Matt, he is a liability, and Adam won't let Matt win because Nick's body gave out at the wrong time. At first Nick doesn't like it. He doesn't like that Adam can see him so clearly. He hates that the truth is obvious in the way he looks and acts. He hates that this is where things have gotten. But Adam won't give up, and this time his stubbornness isn't cruel. It is safety. Adam isn't trying to get Nick to use drugs more. He is trying to keep him alive long enough to fight the real enemy. And that's the important part. Nick is responsible for the decisions he has made. He knows that he has been putting poison into his body. He knows that every time he picks the wrong relief he gives Matt another chance. But Matt is the one who made this whole mess happen. Matt set the trap, used the poison, and turned Nick's weakness into a weapon. That difference is important because the story gets too simple without it. It's not a story about a man who was careless. It's a story about a predator who found a crack and pushed it open so hard that it got bigger. Matt is also mean to Nick. He is still playing the bigger game, still threatening Noah and Sharon, and still trying to move pieces around so that his own revenge keeps getting stronger. The poison is just one part of the plan. It is the part that will make Nick so unstable that he can't help anyone else. Matt wants the whole Newman orbit to be in chaos. He wants Nick to be vulnerable, Sharon to be scared, Noah to be alone, and Adam to have to fix things. He does everything he can to keep the family one step behind. That's why this story is so dangerous. It's not just addiction. It's not just being unfaithful. It's not just one person's bad decision. It is a planned attack on a man who is already under a lot of stress. It uses his weakness against him while pretending that the weakness is the whole story. Nick is not innocent, but he didn't plan his own downfall either. It's Matt. Adam knows this better than anyone else. Nick isn't perfect when it's time to move. He is not magically better. He doesn't suddenly get away with what he's been putting into his body. But he is more stable. He gets his focus back enough to matter. His breathing is more steady. His brain is sharper. He can now help Adam, which changes the way the rescue will go. The two brothers move forward with an uneasy understanding that only a crisis can bring about. Adam knows that what he told Nick to do was wrong, but he also knows why he did it. Nick knows he will have to answer for his actions later, but he can wait until Matt is stopped. Sharon, Noah, and the chance to get a man who has been playing with lives like they are trash are all that matters right now. In the world of the young and the restless, that's what makes the story work so well. No one can be completely clean. Nick isn't perfect. Adam is practical. Matt is bad. And the truth is messy enough to seem real. Nick's duty does not negate Matt's toxin. Nick's choices are still there after Matt's poison. Both things happen at the same time and they both push the story toward the same edge. When the ambush finally happens, it won't just be a fight with Matt. It will be a fight against everything he has already started. Nick will have to accept that his body is now part of the battlefield. Adam will have to deal with the choice he made to keep going. Matt will also have to learn that the Newmans are still dangerous when they stand together, even if they are poisoned, shaken, and scarred. That is the main point of this spoiler story. Nick is in pain because he made bad choices. Matt is gaining ground because he is a hunter. Adam has to choose between staying pure and staying alive. In a place like Genoa City, though, the only thing that matters right now is staying alive. The tragedy is real. The guilt is real. The poison is real. But the fight is also coming up. Nick is going to have to stand up and fight, even though he isn't perfect. This is where the story stops being just shocking, and starts feeling uncomfortably real. Because sometimes survival comes at a cost you don't fully understand until it's too late. What hits hardest here isn't just that Nick is in danger. It's that the person trying to save him might also be the one pushing him closer to the edge. And that contradiction is brutal to watch. And honestly, I don't think Adam made a simple bad choice. I think he made a desperate one. And those are the choices that usually leave the deepest scars. Because let's be real for a second, even if Nick makes it out of this alive, how does he look at Adam after this? And more importantly, how does he look at himself? That's the kind of emotional damage this show doesn't fix in one episode. It lingers, it builds, and it changes relationships in ways that don't go back to normal. And here's what really pulls me in. Matt isn't just attacking bodies anymore. He's attacking trust. And if that breaks, the Newman family could fall apart without him even lifting a hand again. So the big question isn't just, will Nick survive? It's what version of Nick survives this? Because those are two very different outcomes. And what about Adam? Did he just save his brother's life? Or start a chain reaction that could destroy their bond for good? If you ask me, this feels like the beginning of a much longer fallout. One where Nick's recovery becomes just as important as taking Matt down. And maybe even harder. Do you think Adam crossed a line he can't come back from? Or was this the only way to keep Nick alive in that moment? And if Nick finds out the full truth later, does he forgive Adam? Or does this become the crack that never fully heals? Something about this storyline feels unfinished, like the real consequences haven't even started yet. And that's what makes it so hard to look away. If you're watching closely, don't just focus on the action. Watch the reactions, because the next twist might not be another attack. It might be the moment everything between these brothers quietly breaks.